Hello everyone, how are you? I'm Kelsey Mashad, and today we're going to talk about some ways to stop late night eating. So I'm a certified health and life coach, and I help people who struggle with emotional eating so that they can just feel healthy and confident as they make peace with food and their body. So many people will find themselves eating late at night or after dinner, in the evening time, or even after they've gone to bed. And I want to talk about this today because it has come up a lot for me. I've talked to a lot of people recently. I've done some interviews, I've done some research, and this is one of the number one things that's coming up. Okay, so why is this happening? Well, nighttime eating can actually it can cause you to eat more calories than your body actually needs, and of course, that's going to lead to weight gain, right? So I want to talk to you about, I have 10 whole things that you can do and you can try. You can start today trying these things out, okay? Think of them as like your action steps that I give to my clients every week. Even if you just pick one from the list and practice it throughout the week, you'll be one step ahead of the game, all right? So number one is actually to identify the cause, okay? So some people, they eat most of their food, late in the evening or, during the night. And to change this habit, you need to really identify what's going on, like what's the cause of this problem. And nighttime eating, it may, sorry, I had a call. It can possibly be due to, if you're restricting too much food during the daytime, okay? So you want to make sure that, you're not restricting too much, because then that's going to lead to just like this ravenous hunger at night. So it may also, because you're just bored. After dinner, you're sitting around. Sometimes you're trying to sit around and relax, and maybe you get a little bored. Well, nighttime eating, it's also been linked to some eating disorders, like binge eating or nighttime eating syndrome. So these two disorders are actually characterized by different eating patterns and behaviors. But they can have, unfortunately, the same negative health effects on you. So in both of these, what happens is people use food, to kind of like curb that emotion that they're feeling, that any negative emotion, whether it's sadness or you're upset about something, you're angry, or you're just frustrated, and then they often will eat even when they're just not even feeling hungry. So this is when it will happen sometimes. So hi Lynn, how are you? Thanks for popping on. So binge eaters will also tend to eat, very large amounts of food, like in one sitting. And that's, because you're feeling out of control at that point when you're doing something like that. And, people who have actually nighttime eating syndrome, it's a little different because they tend to graze throughout the evening, or they even wake up during the night to eat. And then they end up consuming it. They say it's like 25% of their daily calories just at night. Okay, so both of these conditions, whether it's the nighttime eating syndrome or binge eating, of course, you're eating more than what your body needs. So it's linked to obesity, and then of course depression, and you can also have trouble sleeping. Obviously, if you're getting up at night to eat, there's an issue there with your sleep. But what you want to do is nighttime eating can be caused by boredom, hunger, binge eating disorder, nighttime eating syndrome. But identifying the cause is what will actually help you, take those right steps towards solving your problem. So let's see if I can move that. Okay. So number two, you want to identify those triggers. So as well as identifying your overall overeating, you may find that it's useful to really look at a specific pattern. Think of like patterns of events that usually will set off your particular eating behavior. Hi Gail, how are you? Thanks for coming on. So people, we reach for food for many reasons, right? If you're not hungry, but still you find yourself eating at night, or if that happens, try thinking about the things that led up to that point. A lot of times you'll find that you're using food to actually meet a need that isn't hunger, okay? And with the nighttime eating syndrome, your entire eating pattern may be kind of pushed off or delayed because of your lack of not eating enough during the day. So, an effective way to actually identify the cause of your nighttime eating is anything that's like triggering you, like think of your food and mood. Okay, hi Franca. Think of you could keep like a food and mood diary. So if you write these things down and keep a log of them, then you're able to look back and find any patterns that may be there. Okay, then it's easier to see that way than trying to just kind of think back. So tracking and eating and also exercise, like all those habits too, along with your feelings, can help you really identify these patterns and help you work on breaking that cycle, those negative cycles of behavior. So basically what that comes down to is monitoring your behavior patterns and identifying what actually triggers you at night will help you break that cycle of emotional eating. So number 3, you want to use a routine. So if you're overeating because you're not eating enough, like I said, during the day, then getting yourself into a good routine can really help. Like having some structured eating and sleeping times, that's going to help you spread your food intake over the day so that you're less stressed and hungry at night. Okay, so getting good sleep, it's so important. It's so important when it comes to managing your food intake and your weight. Sleep plays a huge role in our weight loss or our weight gain. Okay, so having like a lack of sleep or not like an adequate enough what's the word I'm looking for? Enough sleep, or whether it was like just a really good sleep, you don't want it, broken up sleep at night. This is actually it's so important for being able to manage, how your hunger, because if you wake up the next day and you haven't slept well at night or you didn't sleep enough, you're going to feel hungrier the next day. This happens to me. Sometimes I'll from day to day, some days I feel hungrier than others. So I immediately think, I'm like, oh, did I get enough sleep last night? And then sometimes that's all it was. I didn't get enough sleep. I'm like, oh, that's why I feel so hungry today. So that's a real thing. And that's something that could be, something you need to stop and think about. So like I said, lack of sleep or like short sleep duration, has actually been linked. Hey, Jenny, how are you? Thanks for coming on. Has actually been linked to higher calorie intakes and, with poor quality diets. So over a long period of time, poor sleep ends up, increasing your risk for things like obesity and those kinds of related diseases. So having set times for eating and sleeping, making a good, healthy routine for yourself can help you to separate the two activities, especially if you're prone to waking up at night and eating. So basically, having a routine for a meal and having a routine for your sleep times can help you break those unhealthy cycles of behavior, okay? Because this can help you have no appetite during the day or tend to lead you binging at night if you're not keeping a good routine, especially a good sleep routine. So number 4, I want you to plan your meals. Plan them out. As part of a routine, you may benefit from this because planning your meals and eating these healthy snacks can reduce the chances of you just eating on impulse or making those really poor food choices if you already have food readily available for you. So having a meal plan also can help you to reduce any anxiety about how much you're eating and help you really spread out your food throughout the day, which is really important because it will help you keep your hunger kind of at bay there for you. So planning your meals and snacks can help manage your food intake and keep off that hunger, all right? And number 5, let's look for some emotional support. Hi, Antoinette, how are you? Look for that emotional support. There must be somebody around somewhere that you can talk to, you can lean on. If you think you may have nighttime eating syndrome or binge eating disorder, then you may want to look into somebody who you can talk to. Whether it's either a friend or a family member or a coach like myself. These are all people that can help you, talk it out, talk it through, and really identify your triggers and then implement a plan for you to move forward toward your goals, okay? So, these plans, they often use things like, just diving really deep. Sometimes just talking to someone can help you kind of uncover things that you weren't originally thinking about on your own, okay? And number 6, let's de-stress. Let's get rid of the stress. I know it sounds easier said than done, but along with sleep, stress also plays a huge factor in our weight loss or weight gain. Okay, so these are things that I work on with my clients. I teach them all these different techniques so that they can move forward and reach their needs and their goals, because anxiety and stress are they're two of the most common reasons why people will eat when they're not hungry, and they're using foods to curb their emotions, which is never a good idea, right? So if you notice that you eat when you're like feeling anxious or stressed, it's time to try to find another way to just let go of those negative emotions and just try to relax. And there's so many different techniques out there that you can use and you can try. For example, I do some deep belly breathing with my clients. We also do some tapping. I usually do tapping Tuesdays, which I've realized I can't keep track of the days because yesterday I forgot that it was Tuesday and I didn't do my tapping session. But anyway, tapping is another way to help you reduce any negative emotions that you may be feeling and help you feel more relaxed and much better. It's a technique that's been around for like 5,000 years, and it really helps to de-stress and calm your body. So, and meditation. Meditation is another way to help you de-stress your body. And research has actually shown that relaxation techniques, they can help you to actually manage your eating disorders, if you have like the nighttime eating syndrome and binge eating, stuff like that. So relaxation techniques, you may find useful, like I said, like the belly breathing exercises and meditation, even yoga or some stretching and exercise. These are all great ways to help you to reduce your stress, okay, and help you feel better, and so that you're not just reaching for the food right away. Okay, and number 7, you want to try to eat regularly throughout the day. So overeating at night has actually been linked to like these crazy erratic behaviors and or patterns that are leading to these disordered eatings. Like eating at planned intervals throughout the day is more going to keep your blood sugar level like more stable for you. Okay, so if your blood sugars are not stable because you're not eating regularly throughout the day, you're going to be on that roller coaster. You're going to get those up and down spikes, and those are going to cause cravings. As soon as it goes up, you're going to be like, okay, I'm feeling good. All of a sudden it's going to start coming down, and now you're like, oh gosh, I'm not feeling so good. Now I'm feeling hungry. Now I'm like really starving. I need to eat. Maybe I'm going to get a little shaky. Maybe your breath increases. Sometimes you get a little warm. This has happened to me in the past. I know these feelings, I know these sensations, and they don't feel good and they're not fun. And all of a sudden you're craving carbs, you're craving sugars, you're craving those higher caloric type foods, and you're just shoving them in your mouth. And then there goes your blood sugar right back up again. Okay, it's all right, I'm feeling good. Well, guess what? It's gonna plummet again, and the cycle keeps going over and over until you can get to a point where you can eat something that's balanced, where it's gonna keep your blood sugar balanced. And these are things that I do every day. This is how I eat, because I don't wanna feel that up and down roller coaster, and this is what I teach my clients and teach them how to eat, so that they're not getting those cravings and crazy roller coaster days. So this helps you to prevent that ravenous hunger and feeling tired and irritable or things like that. Okay, so when you get really hungry, you're more likely to make those poor food choices. We all know that. That's what happens when we feel that way, and we reach for the junk foods, basically, right? Okay, so, and studies actually have found that eating regular meal times, then you have better appetite control and better weight control. Okay, let's see. Antoinette, by the way, I love the color and style of the room you're in. Oh, thank you so much. This is my kitchen, actually, and we just painted this last year. We actually redid it. It was really, really old. It was that greenish 60s green, but very light, like a minty green on the wall with tile. Yeah, so we got rid of that, and this is what we have now. So thank you. Hi, Stacy. How are you? Thanks for coming on. All right, so bottom line with this, eating regular meals will prevent you from getting too hungry throughout the day, and it's going to help you manage those cravings and those food impulses for just wanting to go to the junk food. All right, and number 8, you want to include protein at every meal. So like I was mentioning, being balanced with your meals, protein is part of keeping it balanced, okay? You want to have all 3 macronutrients if you can, which is a carb, a fat, and a protein. That's going to keep your meals balanced. It's going to keep your blood sugar balanced. So different foods, they will have different effects on your body, okay? And they're going to affect your appetite differently. So if you eat because you're hungry, you want to include some protein in there at every meal, because that's going to, number 1, curb your appetite. Hi, Antoinette. How are you? And it could also help you feel more satiated and satisfied throughout the day. So you want to, it'll help you stop from being like so preoccupied with food and thinking about food all the time, and help with you snacking at night. Because if you're satisfied and satiated during the day and your body feels like it has what it needs, it's not going to continue to look for something that it doesn't need, okay? Antoinette, CFP, oh yeah, carb, fat, and protein. Yes, gotta stay balanced, right? We all gotta stay balanced. So one study actually found that eating frequent high protein meals will have actually reduced cravings by 60%, and that cut anybody's desire to actually want to eat at night by half. That's huge, I think, because like I said, I talk to a lot of people who struggle with eating at night, nighttime eating, or just even after dinner, they're bored and they're like, I want to pick at something, I want something. Well, if you're feeling satiated and your body's feeling like it has what it needs, it's not going to be searching, okay? So, number 9, this one I'm a little on the fence with, and if you'll notice that above in my comment, not in my comments, in just above where I explain what I'm talking about today, number 9, I put a question mark next to, and that's because I feel 2 ways about this one. And this one is, don't keep junk food in the house. Now, if you're prone to eating like the high fat, high sugar junk foods at night, if you know that you are not going to be able to control yourself whatsoever, don't bring them in the house, right? Keep them out. And that's what a lot of people will tell you. If these unhealthy snacks are not easy to reach, you're much less likely to eat them. And instead, put all the healthier foods that you enjoy in its place. But I also think that if you're never going to learn to actually learn how to control yourself around these foods if you don't give yourself that opportunity, okay? So you're always going to be fighting with them. You're always going to be trying to keep them away and trying to stay away from them, then rather than being able to actually live with them and live freely with them and not constantly be thinking about them and going for them and fighting with yourself and then eating them and giving in and then being mad at yourself and having that cycle go around and around. So I say, let's try it. Try to give yourself, in my my 3-day crash course that I just opened the doors to yesterday, and I'm so excited about how to overcome overeating in just 3 days, that you learn how to give yourself full permission to eat, so that you can have all of these foods. You can have, you can have all the things. You don't have to give up anything. You don't have to be afraid of having something near you or in the house or at an easy reach. I teach you how to learn to be able to eat those with confidence and give yourself full permission to eat them, and how to honor your hunger and fullness with them, so that you're eating in a way that just feels comfortable and it feels good to you and your body, both mentally and physically, and that you're going to get to a weight that your body naturally wants to be at, because it's teaching you how to eat intuitively and mindfully, and how to uncover what's going on emotionally as well. So that's all in my 3-day program. And guys, it's only $37, by the way. I wanted something that was super affordable for you, that works, and I just opened the doors to it yesterday, so you'll probably be hearing me talk a lot about it. So I just wanted to throw that in there, just because it just went in line with what we're saying and talking about junk food and trying to stay away from it. But you need to teach yourself to be able to be around these foods and not have to fear them. And let me tell you, and I'm sure I've said it before, you might have heard me, but I eat whatever I want, and I don't fear any food whatsoever. And I literally have that weight lifted off my shoulders. And it's so nice and it's so freeing. And you can do the same. And because I've done it, I've lived through it, and I know how. I've done the restricting and binging, which is thankfully, thank God, it's a thing of the past. And now that I know it, I wanted to share it with you guys and teach you guys. So that's where my 3-day crash course comes in, and how to come over, secrets to overcome overeating. And that's you can find that on my personal page. And if anybody has any questions about it as well, I can answer those for you. You can pop them in the comments. You can PM me, whatever works good for you. Let's see, Antoinette, can you briefly explain what and how the 4-day works? Absolutely. It's actually 3 days. My 3-day crash course, I believe you're talking about. What that does is it's a video course, my very first one that I have now launched, yay, with more to come. But anyway, this is my first one, and I just got it out there yesterday. So what it is there's a video for each day, each one of the 3 days, and then there's a worksheet to go along, which are your action steps, okay? So what we do is the first day is I teach you all about how to give yourself full permission to eat all foods, all things in the first video. I teach you all about that. I give you like client examples, and then there's a worksheet for you to complete, and that's your action step. And then you practice that action step throughout the week, or whenever you can, you practice. Go and practice that action step. Then the next day, I'm going to teach you in the video how to honor your hunger and fullness. And I have a hunger and fullness scale right on the worksheet for you. And again, I teach you all about it, and I give you client examples. And then that worksheet is your action step, okay? And then you go and you practice that. And then the third day, we dive a little bit deeper into the emotions of eating, because emotional eating spans like a huge realm. And that is like whether you're sad, you're frustrated, you're angry, you're tired, you're just bored, even happy. I eat when I'm happy. I don't eat when I'm sad. I eat when I'm happy. So it can be for however you're feeling, whatever makes you eat. But I help you within day 3 to uncover the emotional aspect and get underneath what's going on, so that you can eat in a way that feels good to your body and you're not fearing food anymore. Okay, so I hope that answers, I hope that explains it for you. If you have any other questions, please feel free to ask at any time. And like I said, the link is on my personal page. I posted it yesterday. I can post it again today or here if you'd like, or if you want to take a sneak peek at it. And there's a little bit explaining when you first click on it as well. So that's was me getting to junk food and getting a little off track. But the bottom line with junk food is that, if you take any unhealthy junk food out of the house, yeah, that's going to keep you from snacking on it. But at the same time, you're not going to learn how to live with it. So you decide, do I do Venmo? It's actually Stripe, and you just put in a credit card. That's what it's linked through. The actual platform is linked through Stripe. I don't know if you've heard of Stripe, but it's been awesome for me. And it just takes your credit card, and then you're good to go. So basically, decide with your trigger foods how you want to deal with it. You know yourself the best. You know how you are. If you know that absolutely not, I cannot have that food around me, I will go crazy, then okay, let's try keeping it out of the house or keeping it away from you. If you like to try to give it a shot and live with it comfortably, you got to have it around, and you got to practice that, and practice being around it, and practice not having it so much, or having a little bit, but not going crazy with it, okay? And that's part of what I teach you in my course as well, is being able to have it without going crazy, because I teach you like nothing's restricted, nothing's off limits. And because when you put yourself in that restriction mode, you're automatically thinking, oh, I want it, I can't stop thinking about it, because that's just how your brain works. And the minute you think about, okay, everything is on the table, then it's not as appealing, right? So, and granted, this all takes time. It's not a magic, it's not a magic pill. I'm not going to wave a magic wand in my video at you and say, okay, you're good, go eat whatever you want. It's not like that, it's going to take some time, but through the baby steps that I teach you, it helps you to practice on a regular basis, so that the more you practice it, just like with anything, the more you practice something, the better you get at it. And then all of a sudden you have these new healthy habits that you do without even thinking about it. And you're like, oh wow, this is enjoyable now. This is how I'm living and this is great. Okay, I did it. You can do it. Believe me. Okay, so number 10, last and not least, distract yourself. So if you're preoccupied with like all these thoughts, you just can't stop thinking about food because you're bored, especially at nighttime, I hear that, a lot of boredom eating going on, then you really want to try to find yourself something else to do. And you've probably heard me say that before, and you've probably heard other people say that, and you're just like, yeah, whatever, I'd rather go eat. Well, really, there's so many things that you could do instead. I know that there's things that you enjoy. If you made a list, like say even your top 3 things that you really enjoy doing, like to me, sitting down with a good book, I never get the chance to do that because I'm so busy, but that would be like one of my top 3 things to do. I would much rather do that than go find some food. That'd be like a treat for me. Find something that makes you feel like that like sitting down with a good book makes me feel. Hi Maureen, how are you? So think of something like that, whether it's, even just going out for a walk. Like I went out for a walk after dinner last night and I loved it. It made me feel so good just getting out in the fresh air. It wasn't that hot last night. It was beautiful. It was nice. And so then I'm not, reaching for the food, sitting around, or feeling like I needed a little something. And especially after you exercise, when you get some movement in, you're less likely to feel like you want to eat something because you feel like you've done so well. So try to find something else that's going to preoccupy you. So if you're eating out of boredom, then just try, like I said, try to do something that is, that you really enjoy, something that you love to do. Even if it's maybe pamper yourself, give yourself a facial or do your nails or a pedicure or something for yourself. If you don't like to sit down with a good book like I do, or some yoga, which is really relaxing, it's going to help de-stress you as well, which is going to help hold off your hunger. Okay, so these are all things that you can do, that you can try. You could go through the list and pick one. Just pick one and try to practice it today. Practice it throughout the week and see how you do. And then maybe add another one. Okay, let me pick something else from the list, and now let me try practicing that as well. Because the more you practice these things, like I said, you're going to end up doing them so much that all of a sudden it's just your new way of being, your new lifestyle. Hi Father Capiverde, how are you? Thanks for coming on. So I hope that was helpful for you guys, and if you have any questions at all, whether about the content I covered or my 3-day crash course, Secrets to Overcome Overeating, just let me know, leave it in the comments, and I will certainly get to it for you. And if there's no questions now, I'm going to hop off. But I hope you all have a very beautiful day, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye, guys. Bye.